Is Nagesh joined?
Yeah, sure, Nagesh.
Okay. Yeah, hi Nagesh. How are you?
Yeah, fine, Ashok. Sorry, Ashok. Actually, I'm not able to attend the classes.
Yeah, that's fine. It's you can watch the recording, right? You're able to
Yeah,
see the recordings and you are up to date, right?
yeah, not now. Okay, I'm following, but I'm listening the classes. Uh, but
No,
anyway,
you understood about the Docker Swarm, right? Because have you watched the recordings of the Docker Swarm? Because today it will be based on that topic only.
okay, okay, you can continue, Ashok. I will follow that
Yeah,
step.
means before going advanced features, I will explain some things to them. So okay, you will do one thing. No issues. That's fine. Okay, guys, what we have discussed means whatever we have discussed up now, Docker Swarm, whatever are the orchestration tools, what exactly we have done. Today, we are going to do, we actually, whatever we have learned about the Docker Compose, Docker Swarm, Docker, the orchestration, whatever we has been, in everything, when we started Docker Swarm, actually, I have used some words like scaling, multi-node challenge, deployment, Nginx, load balancing. Have you guys
Availability.
ever thought, sorry?
Availability.
Yeah. Have you guys thought that why we need these things? Why? Because when we are using Docker Compose, we didn't have this because we are not able to handle more availability, scalability was not there because we are not able to do on multiple servers because that's on Docker Compose. If we use Docker Compose, we are able to use only on single EC2 machine. And for the deployment, we have to go for the downtime. But when we started because we were actually using Nginx, because in every Docker when we are trying to use or we are doing to have, we are having a web server where it is actually handling it, and we are scaling the application. How we are going to do that? And the load balancing, if for application, if we thought of that only 100 users will be able to it, once the users started using the application a lot, there are thousands of users, the load balancing, the voting application which we had, the application which we had, with that, will be able to directly deploy it in production with the Docker's form. Whatever we have learned up to now, directly we can go into the production. Is the production architecture, whatever we have learned up to now, is it okay? With that, whatever we have learned about the availability, scaling, deployment, and multi-node challenge, everything, whatever we have learned up to now, with these learnings, can we do a production architecture? We can do a production application. Can we deploy our application directly into the production? Is it possible? No, guys, it is not possible, because whatever we have learned, we can be able to use, because whatever we have done, suppose in the voting, consider taking the vote application. What was the vote exactly was there? Just a minute, guys. So in voting, what exactly we used to do? In voting, what exactly we have done? In voting, what exactly, in which port exactly it is mapping? It is going to the port 5000. We can't ask the user to go hit this IP address along with the port 5000, and the result in which port it is showing 5001. We can't ask the users, right? We can't tell the users that go and hit the IP address of some location and hit the along with it port 5000. You can't say to the users, right? Suppose if you want to use Amazon or Facebook, the Amazon will not tell to hit you on Amazon.com port 80. They will not say, or maybe port 5000. They will never ask you to do this. Why? Because they actually handled that. Okay, whatever the request comes, the user should be able to use only one domain. Just with those domain, if I use Amazon.com, if I hit, I will be able to load the application. But if I want to go for this voting application, if I want to vote somewhere, what exactly we have been doing here? We are hitting IP address, along with it we are hitting the port 5000, some HTTP port, This is not HTTPS also, right? This is a port, just HTTP, some IP address, and port 5000. And port 5000, we are hitting like this. This is not a correct way. This is not a way how a production application should be working. This is not the way how the user see the application when he start using it. So our whatever we have learned up to now, that's not actually a production architecture approach. That's not actually how the production applications means. Once the users start using that, we should not look like that. It should not be looking like that. So for this, we need some scaling, some load balancing, some Nginx, where the web servers directly when you are hosting your application, the web servers, how exactly you're gonna handle it. We are gonna look into it. There are many orchestration. What is exactly the orchestration? The Docker orchestration is mechanism which handles the life cycle of the container. What exactly the life cycle? Starting phase, running phase, deletion phase. And what are the types of orchestration tools we have learned? Docker
Docker
Swarm.
Swarm,
Then going forward, we'll be learning about ECS, and after that, Kubernetes. There is Red Hat.
Kubernetes.
Yes, Kubernetes. Okay. And whatever the tools we are using, all the tools should be in the production architecture approach. Whatever we are going to use, whatever we are working on it, we should be able to hit the internet with a single domain. Suppose if you see any websites, anything, Amazon, Facebook, they will not be able to give you the IP address and the port that you should be hitting. So every port, it should be hitting the means whatever the web server we are hitting, it should hit the HTTP port or maybe the HTTPS. And the HTTP port also means if it is hitting, it is the port 80, but we should not know that we are hitting the port 80. The user should not know that they are hitting the port 80. They should not know. So that's the reason we use some proxies and the Nginx before and scaling and load balance. Nginx is a reverse proxy server. Nginx is a reverse proxy. What exactly is proxy? Uh, in old times means now also we have a postman where he takes a post and it delivers to another one, means like a delivery boy, means the delivery person somewhere. He has taken some product and he's delivering to some other place. What exactly the postman, it's his work, the delivery boy work, what is exactly? He delivers the product from one place to another place. The proxy is also the same. It delivers the internet, it delivers the connections, means whatever your response, your request, it takes from one server to the client or maybe from the client to the server. Proxy is just like a postman or maybe like a delivery boy. That is called proxy. That is called proxy. Now, before going into the architecture view or something, so as we mentioned, what is exactly in a computer network? If you take it as the server application or maybe any application acts intermediary that seeks requests from the client or to the server or from the server to the client. It acts on behalf of the client, means how exactly we are actually working it on, how exactly you are actually processing, means what are the requests you are processing, how exactly it works out, how exactly your data, means your request, whatever you are requested, means suppose you are hitting amazon.com, in the amazon.com you are hitting something more, how exactly it is going on, how exactly it is working out. The proxy comes into the picture. There are two types of proxies. One is forward proxy and reverse proxy. What exactly the forward proxy is that? Don't go into the picture. I'll give just an example. We all know VPNs, right? In India, some websites would be banned. In India, some websites are banned. And if you want to access that data, if you want to access that particular link or maybe particular website, what exactly we do? We install a VPN, and with that VPN, we will be hitting the internet. We will be hitting the internet, and that internet will be going to the app server, means to the server where exactly the website is hosted, and from there the data will be come to us. Means before hitting the internet layer, before means the client, before means when we are accessing, before hitting the internet layer, there is a proxy that is called the VPN, which we are using. The forward proxy example is a VPN. When we install, means some sites are banned. What we do, we install a VPN and we access it, hitting it, and the app server sees that, suppose if an Indian India IP is like this, means it is 172.19.20.01. So if you are connected to VPN, your location gets changed to some other region. Maybe it's US, UK, some other region, and from there it is hitting to the from that US server, from that VPN server, it is hitting the internet layer. So means the IP address got changed, and when it is going to the app server, it is saying, okay, this is coming from the US or maybe from the UK, from different region other than India. So this website is accessible, then you will be able to access that website. This is called forward proxy, where before hitting the internet layer, you are taking a VPN server request, you are taking a VPN server help to access some things which should not be done. That is a proxy. This is called forward proxy. Before hitting the internet layer, as we know this OSI layers, right? In that, before hitting the internet layer, if you are using something, if you are want to access something and it is the proxy is present, that is called forward proxy. Based on that, the example as given, as we have taken an example of VPN. It's the same thing, provides to client a group of clients. Oftentimes these clients belong to common internal network. Now there is another one called reverse proxy. What exactly the reverse proxy? Now when we are accessing some websites, means like Amazon, Facebook, we don't know what exactly the backend is. We are just hitting it directly. After the internet layer means the client is directly hitting the internet layer, and after that, it is before hitting the app server. There presents the proxy where, suppose if I am using the vote application and result application, and I want to access them, both are hitting on the port 80. Is it possible to have same network, same port, using the same port on a single EC2 machine? Is it possible? No, right? Because we are having only one port 80, and if we are mentioning for both the ports, means for the voting app also the port 80 and the result app also for the port.
The port can be allocated only once. Ashok?
Or maybe to the result, or maybe the database, where it comes after the internet layer. That is called reverse proxy. Nginx is a best example of this one. That is the reason we are going to use Nginx when we are hosting any web servers, anything. So today we gonna take a demo how exactly the Nginx works, because whatever we have done up to now, whatever we have thought up to now, and whatever we have used Nginx only in the Docker. We just install Nginx. Other than that, we have not done anything. We have done modified some HTML files, but how exactly it works out, how exactly we know about Nginx, we are not known. So today we are going to discuss about the Nginx, how exactly it works out, how important is this tool, how exactly this web server will be helpful for us if we host any application, anything, how exactly it works out. We are going to look into it. The reverse proxy best example is Nginx. As I said, see, the client is hitting the internet, and from the internet it is going to the proxy. Now if you are hosting only one server, you are having only one server, and you are having multiple services, and it is from the internet is hitting only one port. From there, the Nginx is going to, means the proxy is going to handle to which service the request should go, so that you will be able to handle it with a single service. This is called reverse proxy. Let me know if you guys have any doubts.
Continue, Ashok. Continue, Ashok. You're getting it.
So now let's start Nginx. Okay, let me host the EC2 machine. Meanwhile, that's fine. Now, what are the steps to install Nginx?
apt get install nginx -y. If you're doing it automatically, if manually, -y is not required.
Yeah, that's right. Now we have installed Nginx. We have installed Nginx. Now this is my first day. This is my first day in Nginx. So I don't know where exactly the Nginx is running, how exactly it is working out. So what is the way to find out which process are running in the EC2 instance? What is the command? What is the Linux command to find out the processes are running in the EC2 machine? Yes, this is the command to find out the process what are exactly running in the machine. Now I don't know, means I am seeing that okay, I'm not able to find the Nginx. So what we will do, ps minus eaf prep Nginx. See, now I have installed Nginx. Now I am seeing there is two Nginx. One is the master process, the other one is worker process. Oh, I mean the Nginx follows master slave architecture, means the master slave architecture like the Docker's form, like the orchestration, where they have mean following master worker process, where there is master and there is worker. Now see the root user is using the master process, and www.data means this one. I don't know what is this. This is the worker process. This is the worker process. Now we will figure out. Now we will find out how exactly this Nginx is gonna look into it. Means how exactly this is gonna look into it. But whatever we install, it will be installed in change directory etc. It will be in the change directory etc. And if you go inside and do a ls, here you will be finding many things. Whatever we have installed, it will be here. See, it is there. So change directory nginx. Now if you do a ls, have you guys able to see anything which we can go into it and see, okay, these are the things which can be, means we can go into it.
Proxy.
Anything?
Proxy parameters, Ashok.
No, you see, for every installation, there will be a configuration file, right? So every time we have to check what exactly is in the configuration file. Now, if I do cat nginx dot config, so these are all commented. Now I don't want to see the commented. So let me do one more thing. Cat nginx dot yep, see, now we have the configuration file for everything. For everything, we have a configuration file where the Nginx has been, means every cert tool, every service which you install will have a configuration file. So now we are looking into the configuration file. Now, if you see www.data equals to user, oh, this was the reason. This was the reason. It was showing. It was showing. It was showing. This was the reason it was showing the worker process as www data, means the user, it is taking the www data. The worker processes is auto. The worker processes is auto means what is exactly auto here? What exactly the auto here? The auto means the core of your EC2 instance. What is the core of my EC2 instance? I have taken T2 micro. If you want to check it out, see what is my core, what is my CPU, what is my CPU? 1. What is my CPU value? 1. So that's the reason I have only one worker process. So automatically it takes, if I have taken T2 medium will be having two CPUs, then I will be having two worker process. Means it has automatically considered, the worker process as to auto, means automatically based on your EC2 CPU, it has been considered only one. If you want, we can modify it. Let me modify the file. Now I want the worker processes to be 4. Now if I change here, and after changing, what exactly I do, I have to restart Nginx. No, if I do the PS, see, now I have 4 processors. I have 4 worker processors. I have modified it. Now I have been having 4 worker processors. I am having 4 worker process. The PID run in Nginx PID include what exactly these modules, whatever we have been working. Dot configuration file means modules enabled. Whatever you are going to do, Nginx modules enabled will be on this folder. Now we have installed Nginx. Now, if whatever the connections, whatever the process are coming to your EC2 machine, how exactly the Nginx is able to handle? Exactly Nginx is able to handle? Here we have worker connections, means the master will not do anything. Whatever the internet data, that traffic flow has to come, it will be handled by the workers. How exactly it will be handled, how many connections it can handle? Each worker can handle 768 connections. Why only 768? Can't we change this value? Yes, we can change this value, but if you change, suppose if you give 1000, if you give 1000 or maybe 1500 or 2000, the number of connections an EC2 machine can handle if the Nginx has been installed, it is number of worker processes into number of worker connections. Number of worker processes into number of workers connections. It means if you are having 4 into 768, if it is 1000, 4 into 1000, whatever a single T2 micro machines, 4 into 1000 or maybe 1500 goes to 6000 connection. With these connections, with that many connections, the EC2 machine will be sucked up, will be soaked up. It will not be able to handle that many connections. It will not be able to handle that many connections. So that was the reason these guys, means the Nginx people, when they were actually done some use cases and has given a single worker can handle only 768 connections, not more than that. If you give more, than your EC2 machine will be dried up. Your EC2 machine will be dried up with the connections, with the worker processes. So how many connection EC2 machine can handle if Nginx is installed? It will be number of worker processes into number of worker connections. Someday, if you have mentioned in an interview that I have worked on Nginx, this question may arise to you. How many connections an EC2 machine can handle if you are having Nginx has been installed? A single worker, how many connections it will be able to handle? If you are able to, means what exactly the formula to handle the connections of a single EC2 machine, how many connections it can handle? It will be number of worker processes into number of workers connections. And HTTP send file TC, you don't. But for a DevOps engineer, this is a very important line, the access log and error log. Here we will be able to find out what exactly the issue is going on, what exactly the issue is working out. If you do tail minus F, and if you see now, if I hit that, if I hit my IP2 machine, if I hit my EC2 machine, if I hit my EC2 machine, see, welcome to Nginx is coming. Now if you see here, if you see, just now I have its HTTP port. It is telling me this is the IP address it has been hitting. This is the IP address. See, here you are having your IP address, the machine which hit our EC2, means which are hitting our service, the Nginx service outside. You are able to see this is the IP2 machine, means this is the IP address which is hitting. And what exactly in which one on Windows it is taking it out. We will be able to see everything on Chrome. We will be able to see everything. This is the way we will be able to find out who is exactly accessing our service on EC2 on our Nginx. And this is the error log. If you are able to find out why why the Nginx service is not getting up, what exactly the problem is going on, you can just go to this one, same type. I don't think there will be any error, but still. There is nothing. See, now I have just hit my IP2 address, but how this welcome to Nginx is coming? How welcome to Nginx is coming? This I don't know, right? This is also my first time in Nginx. I am working on it, but I don't know. I just installed it and I have went to the config file. I have just changed the work purpose, but how this welcome to Nginx is coming? For that, we have to see there are some things which we missed. Maybe this include. They are saying go to this folder. Okay, let's go to change this one. Let's see what exactly is here. And do ls. This is empty. There is nothing. Okay, now change the other one. Let's see what exactly is this here. No, let's. Oh, there is one default. Now let's read default. What exactly this default is. Okay, again it has been with the commented. Now you see what exactly it is saying on the server. Listen to 80, the root variable www.html. Here in this folder, I may be having an index.html file, or maybe index.htm, or maybe an index.daemon.html. So let me go to this root folder. Now, if I do ls, I have nginx daemon.html. If I do cat, here, here is welcome to Nginx. This was the reason. This was the reason it is showing welcome to Nginx to me in the on the internet. Now, remember, guys, if index.html is there, it will not consider index.daemon.html, because the priority goes like this: index.html first. If it is present, it will be taking this one. If it is there is second, if not, then it goes to index.html. This is also not present, then it goes to index.index.daemon.html. If you want, you can create a index.html file and you can see that. Yes, my internet just got disconnected. See that here or not. Okay. Are you guys able to see my screen, right?
Yes, Ashok.
Okay. Now if I go to welcome to engineering, if I hit on this, see. Here it has been considered index.html. As I mentioned, if the index.html file is present, it will take first priority goes to that one. Then after that, if it is not present, then it goes to index.html. If it is also not present, then it goes to index.debian.com. Index, this is the one here. First priority will be to this one. After this, if it is not present, then it goes to the index.html. If it is not present, then it goes to the index.debian.html. Okay, now here we are in the default. Now, if I want to do something more. I want to do something more. I want to host my own, means whatever I want to, means anyways we are using the default, right? So I want to host, I want to handle the data, I want to load the data like this. So now I will go back to the sites enabled. because here we have see the default was present here itself. So let me go here again. And see, there is a default. Now, is a default. I want to host something like a test and learning purpose. I want to host some websites on my EC2 machine, on my machine, so that I will be able to handle how exactly it works out. For this, I also don't know how exactly to load. So we will take, there is a default one is already present. So we will be making sure taking this one as an example, we will be creating. Okay. Now here we will make a directory, we will create a file. We will create a file. What will be the file? We will create vim live. We will do vim demo. Now here in the place of HTML, I want to provide my own demo. I will be providing demo. Now I will be providing demo. Don't know how to do that. So what I have done, whatever the basic is already by default, I'm just copy pasting that and I am creating a file with the name demo. Now, again, I want to do one more thing. I want to create the test also. Now, if you see, going test is also present. Now here we have to change our to our own file name. We have to change to our own file name test. Now before now we have created two files. We have created two files. Now we have created two files. And we have to keep the file, means the before hitting the demo, or maybe to the test, exactly to the demo or to the test, we have to make sure how exactly it works out, how exactly this gonna look into it. For that we have to first go to the variable, as we have kept it here. First HTML, here we have changed to the, okay, if we do, there is only index.html. Here we have to create our demo folder and the test folder. Now if I go inside to the demo, now if I do something, some file name, sudo vim index.html. Let me take something different example. Guys, are you able to understand what exactly I am doing? Please, if you don't, let me know. Are you able to understand? Hello. Are you guys able to hear me?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, Shok.
Okay. So are you guys able to understand what I'm doing?
Uh, like few commands like you're doing in the recent thing, I couldn't get it, Ashok.
I am hosting means like here we have hosted welcome to Nginx, welcome to Nginx. The same way I want to host. I want to host the voting or the maybe the result server means like as I have shown you here, as shown in the PPT. If we are having multiple services like the payment app front end or login, multiple services like that way, I am creating two different files means two different logins, one to the demo and one to the test, where if you hit the demo, automatically it should load according to the file which we have written. If we are hitting the test, it should hold to the index means whatever we are hitting, it should be coming here. Okay, let me tell you. So before starting, before refreshing, before means if I am creating two different services on my Nginx, two different services other than the default, two different services. Now, two different services. Now I have to restart the Nginx. Before restarting the Nginx, I have to check whether whatever I have given is correct or not. For that, sudo nginx -t. If you give it, see, there emerges a duplicate default server. As I mentioned, we have a default server. What is the default? It was 0080, but we kept that same default server in demo and also in the test, so that we have to default the default server. Only one default server will be present that hits the port 80. So we have to go again to the sites enabled. Guys, I'm hosting just another application, another service on a single EC2 machine. Another service on a single EC2 machine. Now again, I will run the same command sudo nginx -t. Now see, it is showing the configuration test is successful. The configuration test is successful. The configuration test is successful. Now, if I restart sudo service nginx restart. Now, if I hit, okay, wait a minute. If I'm hitting the demo, the default it will be going to here only. Okay, just wait a minute. I have to give my own. Server name. Is demo.com. test.com. Now, if I hit demo.com or test.com, it should work. But we don't have the DNS, right? We don't have the DNS service with us. For to just test how exactly this demo.com test.com, we don't have any GoDaddy so that we can buy it. So we don't have anything. So for this, what exactly we can do in our host machine, in our local machine, you can having a driver ECT host. If you go to your command prompt and see there is a driver host, etc vim host. If you go to this part, if you go to the host file in your Windows machine, if you are using a Windows machine, there will be Windows system that you drivers etc host. In this, if you modify this file, see there is a local name resolution. If you modify this file, then if you add your this IP, if this IP address, does anyone is using Windows machine right now? Are you guys listening to me?
Yes, Ashok. Sorry, Windows machine.
Yeah, you are having a Windows laptop, right?
Yes, Ashok.
So go to this host and add this IP address. I will show you. Mine is an office laptop, so I don't want to do that. So go to the Windows machine, go to your this is the path you have to go. Please go to this path, and there will be a host file as shown it here, and in that add this IP address. Add this IP address. And after the IP address means add this IP address. After that, give space and add demo.com and test.com. You can share your screen. If whoever wants to do it can share the screen. Who's going to do it?
Ashok, I'm sharing my screen.
Yeah, Punath, please. Go to your folder. Go to your folder and type that address. Go to hosts. Open that file.
In which format, Ashok? Like, is it
Notepad only. Notepad or Notepad plus plus, anything works.
okay?
And in the place of local host name resolution is there, right?
Yes, Ashok.
Down, just enter. No, there only. Just enter in the IP address below the local host. Below the local host or one local host.
Okay.
Enter. Do enter and in exactly type your IP address. Type the IP address which I shared to you.
Yeah. Sorry. It's the screen. Just a second, Ashok. Just paste it here. Is it Ashok? Ashok?
No. Below that line.
Okay.
Remove that. What we will say? Yeah, there exactly. Give space. Means give a tab and exactly enter your IP tab. No,
Okay.
don't comment.
Yes.
Don't comment it.
Okay.
Give the tab. Yes. Space. Give again same. What exactly? The tab is there, right? Give one
Okay.
more tab. No, tab. Write demo.com. And the same way, enter again the same thing, copy paste and enter test.com.
Yeah, done,
And
Ashok.
in the local host, save it.
Saved, Ashok.
Not in the documents, it has to be in the host itself.
Okay. Just a second.
Open the folder with the full administrations so that you can work it out.
Punit.
Do one thing.
Sorry, I think Yashwant, can you share and do it? Not able to do it.
Do one thing. Open your notepad. Go to where is go to search. Go to Windows search. Just leave it. Go to search.
Yes.
In the Windows, beside Windows, in the downside. Press the Windows button.
Yes. Got it.
Type notepad and run as administrator. Right click. No.
Yes. Sorry. Yes.
Right click. Run as administrator. Now, on notepad, go to the notepad and open the following file, means the host one which you are having. Open that one. Open that path. Not this one. This is in the documents. I want to open it you in the host. Drivers ECTC host. In that, open that file.
Driver. Okay.
It is in the driver only, right?
Documents, Ashok. It is in the document.
Documents.
No, should be in
Driver.
Driver.
Driver only it is.
have you modified it?
No, Ashok. It is in the document layer.
So go to the notepad, run as administrator, and open the file path. Now go to file, open. Now give the path, etc. Take the above path. Yeah.
No, not that.
That only, take the path.
Yeah, click there.
Take the path. Go there. Go to notepad again. Enter and after that write host. After that write host.
Slash host.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is coming on the first one. Just take that one, click open. Now enter the details, same the IP address, enter tab IP address which I have given to you, IP address,
Okay.
IP address.
Sorry.
Tab demo.com, enter again, tab test.com, and in the local host C, remove the C on top of it. Now save, just Control S. Do Control S and close it.
Yes.
No, not save as, save, just save. You don't have to do anything, just save
Yeah.
and close it. Now hit the demo.com. Now hit open incognito or something, hit demo.com. Meanwhile, let me check whether the instance is open to everyone or not. Yeah, it is there. So what you are getting, hit the test.com. No, open in a different tab. Open in a different tab. Why you are using the same one? You use a different one. Okay, it is hitting the same thing. Just wait a minute. Be like that only. Just give me a minute.
Ashok,
Yes.
once Puneet has hit that test.com, if any other person is hitting test.com, will it reach to the same, Ashok?
No, it will not, because here we don't have the DNS, right? We have not brought any DNS for our local testing. What Puneet has done, he has added the DNS, that exactly the host which has been this service, means this demo.com and test.com, which has been loaded, has been added, that EC2 machine IP address he has been added in his host file, so that if he hits, it will work on his machine only. It will not work for you. It will not work for you. If you hit the demo.com, it will not work for you.
Oh, what if I use the same thing what you said the process and I hit the test.com, Ashok?
Yeah, it will work for you also. If you do the same process, it will work for you. If I do the same changes in my machine also, it will work for me. This is the way how we test the instances before buying any DNS for ourselves. What we do is that we will make sure that, okay, this is the way, this is the way how exactly the DNS has to work out. Here we will be taking and we will be working on that. Just a minute, guys, just a minute. I'm just changing some things. Be like that only,
Yes, Ashok.
so that I'm going to change this something so that it will hit you. It has been the same thing, right? CD variable.ww.html. Try to hit again. Demo.contest.com. Just refresh it. Just refresh it. Yeah, see. What I was given, what I had given, what I had given, what I had given, and what it is coming. If you remember, hit the test.com, reload the test.com. See, this was the HTML files which I have copied. This was the HTML files. I'm just sharing my screen. Let me know once you're able to see my screen.
Visible, Ashok.
See, this was the HTML files which I have copied. This was the HTML files. This was the HTML files which I have copied. If I go on the test, if I do cat index.html, see what is there? Coffee, tea, milk. Puneet, this is the one you are seeing in the test.com, right?
Yes, Ashok.
Now, if I do change directory demo and if I do cat index.html, what was it was showing? This was the one you are seeing in the demo.com, right?
Click the
HTML
button.
buttons.
Yes, yes, Ashok.
See, this is the way we are actually handling two services. See, you are hitting only demo.contest.com and I have hosted it on the port 80 because I have opened only port 80 in my security group. See, I have opened only port 80 in my security group. But as I mentioned, Nginx is a reverse proxy. You are hitting demo.com or test.com means in a single EC2 machine, we are hosting multiple services, but it is hitting the port 80 and the 80 is handling to one to where to go. Here it has been mentioned. Here we have mentioned it where is it? Chain directory etc Nginx. Less sites enabled. Here on the sites enabled, here we have modified. Here we have modified. We have kept our own services. If you are hitting the demo, go to this demo. Go to check if you are hitting the default. If you are hitting the default means my own IP address, it will be going to the Nginx. but I have kept two different services for myself. One is demo and test. In the demo, if you are hitting the demo.com, it will be going, cat demo. It will be going onto the listen port 80, and from there it will be going to the root where exactly the code is present, to the where www.html demo. From there, check whether the index.html is present or not, and with the server name, what is the server name we kept? Demo.com. Demo.com. Are you guys able to understand what we have done right now?
Yes, Ashok.
Yes, sure.
Now, if I go to change, okay, sorry, my bad. For the test, it will be on the test side. It will be on the test side. It will be on the test side. Now, if you want, if you are now, let me try. Let me try introducing Docker here. Let me try having a Docker here into the machine, and let's see how exactly it works out. Okay. What exactly the thing needs to be done? Okay. Let me go back. Install Docker. I'm going to install the Docker fast. Guys, if you have any questions, let me know, because this is the way we will be doing. This is the way we are working on it. This is the way we actually we want to do something. We want to do something, and different services has to be kept on a single EC2 machine or single machine. This is the way we are going to do it using Nginx as a web service. I'm going to install the Docker Compose also. Okay, which one has been run here? Container log file. And that's fine. Now guys, I have installed Docker Compose. Now what I'm gonna do is that we'll go to etc Nginx sites enabled ls. Now in the Vim demo, now I'm gonna do the location here. I'm gonna use the proxy pass where the outer where before how you exactly use with our IP address dot port 5000 we are gonna see the voting, and 5001 we used to see result. Here I'm gonna use something, and I will make sure that Pulit, your IP address was 127.0.0.1, right? Right, Punit?
Yes, Ashok.
Okay, I'm going to use the proxy pass and doing yes. Yes. Okay. Punit, share your screen and hit the demo.com and sorry, hit the demo.com and test.com. Share your screen and hit the demo.com and yeah, you are sharing. Go to the demo.com. Now vote. Now go to that result to the test.com. See, I have proxified the Docker which I have installed, the Docker Compose file, where how exactly I modified in the demo. I have proxy passed. Whatever the port it is going to have before. I have done it to the port 5000. So it is hitting directly the voting app or directly the voting URL. And the result which I have done, I have made it to the test where I have modified to the port 5001. So that way, if you are hitting the demo.contest.com, automatically it goes to the voting and to the result.com. It is going like this. Are you guys able to understand how exactly we are using Nginx as a reverse proxy? We will be able to do how much of things we can be using it as a web server. Have you guys able to understand?
Yes, Ashok.
Now this is an exercise, so to do it from your side as a homework and try these things and make sure you hit these things when you are working it out. Now this, let me share my screen. See the let's me go to before going to minutes. This is a proxy and reverse proxy use cases where exactly we use proxy. How exactly the proxy works out. If you want to use VP and everything, the forward proxy and the reverse proxy, it's just for the things which you want. In which use cases we gonna use the proxy and reverse proxy. And if you go to Nginx, see, this is the most popular web server right now in the industry. The Nginx is the most popular web server. Now, if we see how exactly we worked out, now this is the same URL, means how the exactly the architecture looks like. We have done it, we have modified it, and we have seen it. How exactly it works, the web server to the index.html, how exactly it works out. The architecture, master slave, as I mentioned, it takes a master slave architecture, same as the Docker Swarm orchestration, where it will be the load the client will be having directly to the worker. From the worker it is going to the index, what we have seen right now. This is the way how exactly the configuration file looks like. As we said, user, what it was, the www.data worker process, how much if you want. If it is based on your CPU configuration, the worker process will be auto. If you are having one CPU, it will be taking one. If you are having two CPU, it will be taking two. If you want to change, you can change it. And how many connections the worker can be able to handle. Connections, by default it will be 768. But and a single estimation how many connections it is able to handle, it will be number of worker processes into number of worker connections. Number of worker process into number of connections. Very important question in any point at anywhere. If you say that you worked on Nginx, this will be the first question they will be asking on Nginx. And the access log and server log and everything we have discussed. Do you have guys any questions? You guys have any questions? You guys have any questions? Come on guys, any questions? Say yes or no at least. Are you
Yes.
guys able to understand whatever we have done up to now? How exactly the Nginx as a reverse proxy we have worked it out? As a web server, how exactly we have worked it out?
Yes, Ashok.
So if you don't, guys, I don't have question. First, answer the first question. Second one, just leave it. I will explain it later.
What would be the output of this present working directory instructions of a Docker file?
If you are saying the answer, you have to explain it to me also. Come on, guys, don't have that much time. We have to complete the load balancing and scaling also. So I want you to be little quick. Answer it. Just give a guess. Let's see.
/A/B, C, Ashok. The answer.
Okay, what about you, Punit and Nagesh? Use your Linux knowledge. Present working directory. Use your Linux knowledge.
BG box.
Guys,
Is it /A, Ashok?
no. I'm asking about the other two people. You don't want to answer the question at all. Come on, guys.
Ashok,
Yes, Punit.
sorry, I'm actually talking from that time. I didn't know that my voice is not audible.
Maybe you are on mute by yourself only.
Oh, no, Ashok. I'm not. I was not on mute actually, but I was using a mic, headphones mic, and I was talking from that time. Sorry.
Then it's your mic problem. So what is the answer? What is your guess?
C, Ashok, option C.
Why, Punit?
It is running the present working directory at the end. We are giving the command run pwd. So it
Okay.
would take the directory of B and C, because we haven't used for work dir C. We haven't used slash. So it is not. It would use the path BC. So,
Yes, the C is the right answer. This is Linux knowledge. See, Ashwant, first we went to the work directory A, and after that we have changed to the work directory B. And after that, it has been the work directory in the B only, it is being in the C. So what exactly the command was? Present working directory. So it will be B and C. So C is the right answer. So right now we have seen a service, right? Docker compose, we have worked it out. As we have seen, we have published demo.com, test.com and everything, and we are hitting to the port 80 only. So what would be the answer? What would be the answer? P1, P2, you remember P1, P2 and tell me, if you remember P1, P2 perfectly, you will be able to answer this question. Come on guys, be fast.
Ashok, the answer is C. Ashok.
Puneet, you remember the P1, P2 concept, right?
Yes, Ashok.
So you are saying first the ports will listen. P2 will be the which port? P2 is which port?
EC2 port, Ashok.
P2 is the port of EC2.
Sorry, P1 is EC2. P2 will be the current working port.
P1 is EC2, Ashok. P2 will be the Docker container.
Yes. So what will be the answer? Guys, understand the question. The P1 port is 8080 and the P1, P2. If you means whatever the port it is going on, whatever the port it is working on, it will move. It will be from the port P1 to the P2. Means first all the nodes will listen on the port 8080 and will forward the request to port 80 of any of the containers. The answer will be D.
Okay.
P1, P2, because on the P2 it is working it out. On the P1 it will be there. The answer will be D. Now we will go to scaling. We remember, guys, we discussed about the horizontal scaling and vertical scaling before, on when we are discussing about the AWS. Do you guys remember it?
Yes, Ashok.
Yes, Ashok. Yes.
Yeah, the same thing only. If you are having a voting application based on the images, you are having the voting application, voting app, Redis, and everything. First, when we started the application, it was for only 100 users. Now the users got increased. There may be 1,000 and 10,000 users. Now, if you don't scale your application, if you don't scale your application, then we will be in the trouble that the application means the service is not able to handle that much users. So here comes the picture of vertical scaling and horizontal scaling, and is, as we discussed, vertical scaling is changing the type. Is changing the type means existing server changing the type means we are in a single server, we are changing the type of the server, means we are increasing the hardware, or maybe we are increasing the CPU. That is called vertical scaling. Horizontal scaling, the same type of machine, means we are externally adding, we are adding more servers to already existing servers. That is called horizontal scaling. Most preferred way in AWS is horizontal scaling, but there may be cases where we use vertical scaling also. There may be cases where we use vertical scaling also. I will explain where exactly. Now, as I just want to go through it, scalability is just that to increase or decrease your compute or storage resources to meet the change demand in the cost effective way. Before coming the cloud, before cloud coming into the picture, we used to have data centers. We used to have data centers where everyone will first where first everyone used to go to the data center if the application, if they have to increase their storage, their memory, or maybe the CPU hardware, they have to burden the cost, means the cooling charges, the power backup charges, the electrical charges, they have to keep it on their heads before doing that. But after cloud coming into the picture, these things have gone vanished. Many people are so much be happy using the cloud. Why? I will explain these things now. As the vertical scaling, in which cases the vertical scaling is used? Two cases where we use vertical scaling. One is for the database, second for the cron jobs. Why we use vertical scaling for databases? If you are having a database, and in that database, if the data is already present in that, you can't add more servers to that, right? If you can't add more servers, because you have to change all the configurations and doing everything. But for the vertical scaling, if you go further, means you can increase the RAM, or maybe increase the storage, or maybe increase the hardware. The database will be there and the data will be saved, because at the time of changing something, or maybe if you are changing the configuration, or maybe changing the migration, something else, if something has been lost, then it will affect the production, because the data is very important. Whatever they have done, it is very important, so they don't take that risk. Maximum cases, people who are using database will go for the vertical scaling. The database, for mainly database, we use vertical scaling. We increase the configuration size, CPU size, storage size, RAM, and hardware, we increase it because of the database. And the cron jobs, why exactly for the cron jobs? And every day in your organization, there is a mail coming for you every day for all the employees, saying that, okay, these are all the tasks, these are all good morning, maybe this is the notification. If you add multiple servers to it, automatically a message coming only once per day will be coming twice, thrice, if you add two more servers to it, or maybe three more servers. We don't want that, right? So that was the reason. If you are having a cron job which used to send messages, which used to send email notifications, we will be upgrading, we will be increasing the infrastructure. And the main down case of vertical scaling is the downtime. You can't change the instance configuration, or maybe the size, anything, without bringing down the server, If you see, I'm going to give a best example. The best example is the EC2 machine in AWS. If you take this example, here the T2 type is micro. If I want to change this instance type, if I want to change because my machine is choking up, I want to change this type. I want to increase my size and everything. If I go to actions, instance settings, see, the instance type is not able to change unless I stop this machine. I will not be able to do it. If you go to RDS, database, I don't think I have databases, but let me show you something. If you create a database, you can modify the database even if it is running, but it will take a downtime of 15 minutes. Why it will take a downtime of 15 minutes is that first, when the database is created, it will be in available state. But once it is in available state, state, okay, let me. It isn't creating, right? Let me see. This will take a lot of time. Okay, this will take a time. I will show you. So once this has been created, if you want to modify the database, if you want to do anything to the database, here I will show you to do when the vertical scaling is happening. So this is the best example. Of the vertical scaling. And if you talk about horizontal scaling, if you are already having 2 instances or 3 instances, you want to increase the instances, you want to increase the load. If you want to increase, more users are coming, you want to make the application scalable, you will add just more instances. This are the strategies. As I mentioned, scale up means you are actually adding more configurations to your machine. This is called vertical scaling. You are adding more machines to your already existing nodes. This is called scale out, means this is horizontal. This is vertical scaling. As I mentioned here, if you are on a single machine and parsing is complicated, means the database things, we are use vertical. We perform cron job operations and duplicity is not needed, so that goes for the vertical. Horizontal, as I mentioned, if your hardware can't be increased more and you want to have multiple machines and you want to make your life very easy, so horizontal. Then the pros and cons, as I mentioned, you involve a downtime where the upgradability will be a little bit complexity and everything. And for the horizontal, will have more pros, but the only con is the architectural design, which will make a little difficult to understand. Means we will be having many more servers to understand. This is about scaling. Do you guys have any questions on it? I have explained the scaling before also, but I just want to make sure that you understood it.
Ashok, Ashok,
Yes, Puneet.
vertical in industries, vertical scaling is used more or horizontal scaling, Ashok?
It depends on the organization, Puneet. As I mentioned, if you are using database, and the database is having a vast data, means it is like a terabyte. means not GB, it is in terabytes. So at that time, we will not be taking the risk of going to a different horizontal scaling. We will not be taking that risk, because at some point, if you are actually increasing the size, if you are actually going for a different server, that means changing the total data that much of vast. It will take some time, and for that, maybe the users will not be able to, means some mistake may happen, so they don't want to take that risk. So that's the reason they actually increase the size. If you go into organization and start working, suppose there is 1 terabyte data is already present on a machine, on a server, it is already been there. What they do is that they add more storage to that and more CPU, so that it goes again, means the data, because they don't want to lose the data. As I mentioned, mainly for the DB, the vertical scaling is used. As I know, maximum 80% will be using horizontal scaling. The 20% will be vertical scaling, mainly for the database. As I know, but as I mentioned, it depends on the organization and depends on the way they were thinking. They don't want to lose data, anything that mean you may having multiple databases, but only one database will be read and write. The other databases which you are actually getting the data will be only read. It will not be writing any data into it. You may actually copy the data from one to another server, but in that server it will be only read, means you will be only getting the data from there. You will be not writing, means if you are have providing any new inputs to the application, it will be to the main existing database. Only one will be the one where you will be taking one. For that one, you will always use vertical scaling. Any questions, guys?
Which is hello, Ashok, which is effective, Ashok? Is it vertical or horizontal?
Uh, it depends. As I mentioned here, for vertical, you will be having more and more. Means your CPU is already been using more, so you will be always providing more versions, more storage will be provided, more thing will be provided to you, right? So vertical will be a little bit costly, but horizontal is that how exactly you can do it if you don't want to use more machines. Means suppose I will give an example. In Amazon Great Indian Festival, in Flipkart Big Billion Days will come, right? At that time, these whatever the servers they will be using, they will predict for this time, now the load which it is coming, it will be 2x load. So they will automatically increase the servers, and once the Big Billion Days or Great Indian Festival is done, they will just remove the servers. That's it. That's they have done at that time, and they have increased the servers and they have taken the load, and then they have discarded the servers. That's enough. But here you don't have, you will be paying for just for that 7 days. But in that case, if you are using vertical scaling, if you increase the machine, if you increase the storage, again you can't go down and ask them to decrease the storage. That's not happens. So horizontal scaling hello,
Ashok?
Yeah, sure.
You are not
are you guys
audible.
able to hear me? See, here it is available, right? This is vertical scaling. If I modify, if I want to modify, are you able to see my screen, right?
Yes, Ashok, visible.
See, this is the one. If you see, this is the modifying right here.
Yes, Ashok.
If
Yes.
you modify something, it will go like this. It will take 10 to 15 minutes. It will take 10 to 15 minutes to get that database again up. At that time, if you are using the production, that will be a disaster. The users will not be able to use the application. So that's the reason we provide the downtime, saying that the application will not be available. You may have seen some mails from some organization, some normal mails where they will be saying the application will be down from this time to this time. The application will be down from this time to this time, so that they will be doing these changes when they are working on it. I don't want to have this because this will make my life hell if I have it. Let me done that. Okay, now this is the way how we do the scaling, and how the ways for scaling are manual, scheduled, and automatic. As we seen here we were doing it. When we are doing it, when we are using it, we have a scheduled time of period, right? Scheduled.
Ashok?
Yes, man, tell me.
Ashok, your voice is breaking.
You can do it manually and you can do it scheduled. It is the maintenance period. It's a cluster window. Here the options will come. Where is the option groups? Snapshot. There are three ways. Scheduled workload means you can scale and a scheduled time period, or maybe the automatic means once the application goes, means we will be having like this. Let me write it down. For the vertical, if you are using for the EC2 or RDS, it will be you have to change the type of EC2 or RDS. You have to go. It will involve a downtime. And for the horizontal, you can be doing multiple, means you can be working it out. How exactly means you can with horizontal you can save up to 25% of your AWS cost. How? See, you actually when I was started learning about this DevOps, I actually seen one scenario where there is an organization where they are seeing there is an organization where the applications which the organization was hosted up, the organization which the application is having, they have checked the application which the organization having, they checked that between 2 a.m. to 7 a.m. means 7 a.m. or maybe like 8 a.m. there is no load on their dev QA test QA UAT means UAT servers. There is no load on these three servers. Means there is no load. Means an organization which is having an application where means they are obviously if an application is there, they will be having dev QA and UAT servers, right? So they have checked. They have seen that there is no load. There is no load means no one is working. Then there is no one is working on these servers. On these servers in between 2 a.m. to 6 a.m. means in a single day it's almost 6 hours. It's almost 6 hours of a day. No one is using this dev QA and UAT servers. So what they have done, they have scheduled a time zone that make you will be having auto scaling groups. Let me show you that one. Okay, first we have to go for the launching configurations. If you go to create a launch configuration, where is it? Here, when you create a launch configuration, you get the chances, means what exactly you want to give. I don't want to do that because if you do it, because we don't have the money here. So here you will get a scheduled maintenance where there will be a scheduled containers, arguments having making a minimum and maximum, making minimum and maximum. So what they have done that was they made max and minimum, means they wanted this many servers, they wanted this many servers, they wanted this many, means minimum servers should be this and maximum servers should be this at the time period. So what they made is that they made the minimum and maximum as zero from 2 a.m. to 8 a.m. between. The dev QA UAT servers, they made the minimum and maximum as zero. And after 8 a.m., what they have done is that after 8, they made the max and minimum. The max is 15 and the minimum to 2. Minimum to 2. So that way they have saved 25%. 25% means automatically in a day 24 hours. The 25 is 6 hours. So they have saved 25% of the AWS cost when they were using the AWS services. This was one of the best example where I have understood that horizontal scaling is that much they can work it out. They have scheduled this one using a scheduler. If at that time between minimum and maximum should be zero between 2 a.m. to 8 a.m. and after 8 a.m. make it to maximum whatever the value they wanted. This way they have set the cost. So this is a scheduled way of scaling. And there is another way where if your CPU means in a server instance, if you are seeing that, as I mentioned the big billion deals, if the CPU goes above 50%, above 50%, increase one more instance. This is another scheduled way of keeping going for horizontal scaling. If the CPU goes above 50%, above 50%, then increase one more instance. So automatically the auto scaling groups which we will be having, which we'll be talking further, they will be creating this auto scaling group, and it will take care of creating, it will be taking creating of, see, if you are seeing request spot instances, this will be the one which automatically creates the instance in when the CPU threshold goes to 50%. This is a way called as scheduled, manual, scheduled, and automatic, the ways of scaling. Manually, we have to do it. Scheduled, we by predicting the workloads, and as we want to reduce the load and everything. Automatic means based on the predefined rules and thresholds, what exactly, how exactly. This is the another way of doing it. Ways to scale. Any questions, guys? Here actually the 50% comes into the automatic, where we will be defining some dynamic policies. So like as I mentioned, 50%. Any questions, guys? Anything if you have,
Ashok,
just
like,
yes.
does AWS support horizontal scaling, Ashok?
Yes, AWS mainly gives horizontal scaling more. Yeah, it gives vertical scaling also. Means for the RDS which you are using, if you want to change the size, if you want to increase more CPU, it gives for that also. But AWS more prefer horizontal scaling.
Okay.
Now, load balancing. Load balancing. What exactly the load balancing is? Now, if you see 100 users and 1,000, we are scaling the application, but how we are telling to which users to which load it has to be hold, means to which server, means if you are in a voting application in demo.com, if the user is coming, means if you are having for the demo voting app, you will be having 4 containers. How you are going to tell to which load it has to go to, which means it has to understand where exactly the load is not there. Means when the users are coming, when they are hitting the connections, when they are hitting the traffic, at that time how exactly it is able to handle how many users, means how much container has to hold, which container is having less, which container is having less connections, which container is having more connections, which container is having empty connections. It has to check and it has to distribute the load manually. It has to distribute the load. So automatically there comes the picture of load balancing, how exactly you are going to load. There are machines, means in a region where you are working it out and you are seeing the latency issues, like you will be connecting to the internet and you will be trying to hit the website, it is not coming up. At that time the load balancers are not working perfectly, means it is not actually sending the load, or maybe the load is already high. Like this we have to distribute. If the load balance is present in a server, means if they have 3 servers, it has to distribute the load. It has to distribute the load equally, so that everyone gets the internet or maybe the data very fastly. Now we have many types of load balancers in AWS, right? We have many types of load balancers in AWS, but that what exactly the AWS is, what exactly they do, they are chargeable, right? If you go to the load balancer, we are having application load balancer, network load balancer. You remember it, guys, right? We have discussed these things.
Yes, Ashok.
सब उड़ गया क्या? You remember it.
Yes, sir.
So these are all chargeable, right? These are all chargeable. When we are using Nginx, why can't we create our own load balancers? Why can't we create our own load balancers? Why can't we create our own load balancers? Why can't we do that? Why can't we work it out on ourselves that if we are using the EC2, means if we are using our Nginx web server, why can't we create our own load balancers? We can do that. How exactly we gonna do it? Let me show you. Indirectly, what was the one? Oh, just a minute. Okay, etc Nginx site enabled. If you see here, before server, we have to introduce a called upstream, and you can give anything whatever you want to give, means say something like demo test, and what exactly means to which server, means where exactly, means to which server the load has to take, means which server we have to take. Now if I hit server and I'm just gonna provide google.com, okay, and I'm gonna hit for server facebook.com. Actually this is not mine, but I'm just doing it. Now if you hit whatever the stream, now whatever it is coming for the whatever the load is coming, for the demo will be gone to the server google.com. Punish, share your screen and just wait a minute before that. Okay. Uh, Share your screen and hit the demo.com.
Okay. sharing. Ashok.
Yeah.
Do you want to continue? It is showing the same, Ashok.
Open in a different incognito mode. Open in incognito mode. Now hit the demo.com. No, it should be going to the Google and everything. Just wait a minute. Let me change. Be on like that.
Yeah.
Let me change the settings here. Hit again, Pranit. See, again, hit again. Just refresh it again.
It's the same, Ashok.
Hit again. Actually, you should get Facebook error also. Come on, hit again, hit again. Let me share my screen. Guys, what exactly I have changed? I have changed. I have worked it out. The load balancing means if I create 2 more servers, let me do that. Where is it? Let me create 2 more instances so that I can show you how exactly. Am I sharing your screen? No, right?
No, Ashok, you are sharing your screen.
You are sharing, Ashok.
Okay. Again, install the Docker and everything. Okay. Try your share your screen and hit again.
Yes, Ashok.
Okay, for the facebook.com it is going like that. Okay, let me change something else, because I think they have changed something in there. Hit now, Puneet.
Same, Ashok.
They are actually the Amazon people also using the same thing. Okay, I just want to give some examples so that you should get a 404 error or something else. Yeah, tell me some website which I can hit. Flipkart, Amazon, Facebook, Apple. Not sure Apple. Hi Puneet. I just want to see what are all the different type of. Okay, this is actually hitting to the same thing. The Apple and everything actually using the same thing. Now hit now. Okay, just wait a minute. Let me change the settings. I know. It will throw the Google one. Hit again. You are using demo.com only, right?
Yes, Ashok.
Type and enter once. Okay, hit the test.com. It will be showing the cat and results one, as I know. Okay. Okay. Okay, that's fine. Let me share my screen. The load balancing which we have done here, the upstream, using the upstream, we can load balance, which server you want. Here you can give your IP address or maybe the server details, and you can predict how much connections it should go here. Means if you are having two services, you can define that okay, 90% of the connection should go to this and 10% of the connection to go to this. And after the wait, if you mention down, means if the service is down, this server is down, go all the connections to here. This is the way how you can create your own load balancers. If you do a simple Google search, Nginx load balancers, if you go to Nginx load balancers, you will be able to find out, how many types of load. See, upstream, backend, upstream, whatever the name, it is up to you what you wants to give, and the server name, and if you are not, you can give the IP address. That's the way you can load balance. In Nginx. You can have your own load balance, and there are four types of load balancers. One is round robin. Round robin actually is the one where one connection will be, means it will be vice versa, means one time if it is going to server one, second time the second connection will be going to server two. This is the most preferred load balancing method in Nginx. One will be going to the server one, the other will be going hitting the server two. 1 2 1 2 1 2, it will be hitting like this. The least connections is that it will check whichever is having the least connections in the server. If the server one is having 90% connections, the server 2 will be sending the connections to server 2, the least connections. It will be checking which server is having least connections. To that, it will be sending you the connections. And the other one was, where is the other one? Not the generic hash. The other one is least time. What is the least time? Is that suppose you are in India, and there is application where it is been hosted on India and US. So for the Indian users, it will be hosting, it will be hitting the IP, it will be hitting the connection in India. It will be hitting the connections which is in India. It will be hitting the server which is in India. It will not be going to the US, because going to US and coming back, it will take some time. The latency issues will come. So the least time, and the people who are using the US, who are in the US, and their connections will be for the least time. It will be hitting the US servers. The IP hash. This is a very important topic. The IP hash. The IP hash. Suppose you are having two applications. You are having the same application. This is the older version. This is a newer version. Okay. Now you are a user who is actually been using this application for a long time. Okay. Suddenly, when you are using round robin, first time it is going to the old version, second time it is going to the new version. Is this a good way of showing your application? Means, is it a good way? Because one time it is showing the old version of the application, and the second time it is showing the new version of the application. The user may have impact, saying that what is this? What is this? Why it is being showing sometimes the old, sometimes the new? Why? So to avoid these kind of mistakes, the IP hashing comes into the picture. How exactly it will be worked out is that, suppose when you hit for the first time, this will catch your IP. This will catch your IP. It will catch your IP, and it will, with this number, if it is suppose 192 dot like suppose this will be 192 192.168.0.1. If it is this number, what it will do is that with this number it will add and it will make a number. It will add and make a number. Either it will be 1, it will be 1 or 2. It will be 1 or 2. So with this value, whatever the value comes, if it will be 1 or 2, so if this value, if your IP address is coming and if your value is 1, always it goes to the hashing. Means this is the hash value 1, hash value 2, where every time when you are hitting, so if you are coming into the category of 1, so it will always go to the old version. If you are coming into the hash value of 2, if your IP address comes to the hash value of 2, then it goes to the new version. This way it will be categorized which user will be seeing the older version, which user will be seeing the new version. This is called IP hash. This is a very good topic. Means when you are actually using, for some US users, from US, from Indian users, if you are having two versions of your application and you want to show only that version to particularly that type of users, and to Indian users you want to show the older version, for the US users you want to show the new version, then will be hashing the IP of their addresses, and if they make sure that it is been 1, then it will be coming into the old version. If it is 2, it will go into the newer version. But if you connect it to VPN and you are doing it, you may come into any of the categories that we will not be able to decide. That may, if some Indian users may have been the IP and they do connect to IP and it will go to the US servers, so they will be able to see the newer version. This is called IP hashing. I'm just giving a con also here. So this is called IP hashing. 4 types of load balancings which can be done using the Nginx. This is the one. Did you guys able to understand everything? Are you guys able to understand or not?
Yes, Ashok.
Yes,
I
sir.
need to
Yes,
go
sir.
through once again this
Yeah.
video session, Ashok.
See, today I have not even discussed about Docker at all. I have just mentioned about the Nginx, the scaling, and the load
Load
balancers.
balancing.
Because before going into the advanced topic of Docker Swarm, advanced topic, I just want you to make sure that you understand these things, because no one will explain you how exactly the Nginx works inside, how exactly we do the scaling, how exactly the Nginx load balancing is done. No one will decide. If you go anywhere in any DevOps sessions, they will not explain this. They will just say that, okay, you are using Nginx, that's it, that's fine. You don't have to go inside it. But why I'm explaining, because this is very useful for you. If you start working on the Docker or maybe as a DevOps engineer, you need to understand how exactly the Nginx works, how exactly where to look it out, where to find out how exactly the load balancing types works when you are using the Nginx as a load balancer. And you can, without having the DNS, without having your DNS, if you want to test your application, you want to work it out, you can work like this. You can add your IP address of the EC2 machine in your host file and you can hit, so that you will be able to hit the websites whatever you want to work it out. This is the way, whatever the session, this is the perfect way how a production architecture should approach. This is the perfect way how a production architecture should approach. This was the reason I have explained you these things. I think except this, I think I have done all the things. Yeah, this is actually advanced topic, so that's the reason I have not done. So are you guys able to understand?
Yes, Ashok.
Puneet, if you want to try, as I said, in your host file, remove that details, remove that IP address which I have given to you, and you can keep your own. Means, so if you created your EC2 machine, you can keep your own IP machine and try. You
Okay,
can
Ashok.
create multiple, means demo.com, but for now you can remove that one. You can same go to as a notepad plus plus and open the file and remove it and just save it. so that if you are creating your own EC2 machine, give that IP address, and in the sites enabled, if you create your own files, give that file names there. Means whatever the .com you want, you can give it. It's up to you. This is the way about how exactly we work out. This is about all about the Nginx load balancer and scaling. How exactly it works. How exactly Nginx is very useful for us as a web server.
Reverse proxy.
Yes. Okay. Let's see whether you will be able to answer these questions or not. Read out the questions and tell me the answers. One, Ashwant, read out the third one. Puneet, you can go for the fourth. So
Yes. Okay.
Rahul is handling an internal attendance marking application on an EC2 machine for his company. All the employees work in the 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. Indian Standard Time shift. From the options below, Rahul wants to select the one that would result in a minimum cost. He rely upon a minimal scaling system. So go for scheduled scale with the pre-machine size. Opt for automatic scaling when CPU and or memory reaches 60%.
come on, Ashwant, what is the answer?
It's B, Ashok.
What about you, Puneet?
I think it's B only, Ashok. Go
Yes,
for
that's
scheduled
correct.
scaling.
Because there is a scheduled maintenance. They know that the employees work only in 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. shift. So if we want to reduce the cost, so he can go for a scheduled scaling. Okay, now read out Puneet fourth one.
Yeah. Jack sets up 5 backend services with Nginx for load balancing. Many users in different locations reported latency related issues. Jack checked the status of the system and found that all the system were underutilized. What can he try in order to resolve the issue? Use the IP hash approach for load balancing, Ashok.
Understand the question clearly and answer
What
again.
can you try in order to resolve the issue? Permissions to the cluster is less.
Jack sets up 5. Okay, underutilized. For traffic, we use IP hashing.
See, if we are not actually, if we are hitting some application, if the application is not working, what exactly we first do? We will check the internet bandwidth, right?
Yes, Ashok.
Okay. But
Seriously, guys, if I say internet, you are saying internet bandwidth.
No, Ashok. Normally, we'll check internet. We'll be checking the local whether it is working or not bandwidth. I mean,
No, guys. First time when we are looking at the internet is also working, if we are also looking at if your application is not working, it's not up to our internet problem. The thing is that it is underutilized. It is underutilized. See here, what exactly is doing? The application is actually using the load balancing, and if he is underutilized, there is no point of adding more machines to the cluster. Okay. Second, IP hashing. Why would they do a IP hashing? It is two different locations. Means different locations they are using. Means it's the same application they are using. So there is no need to do a IP hashing. And to resolve the issue means he can try going for the least connections. Means he can check it out which server is having less connection, so that he can provide all the traffic to that server for time being, so that he will use the least connections approach for the load balancing. Means if he's having 3 servers and the first server is already high, the other 2 servers are having the least connections, so that he will be using that least connection approach, so that the other load, whatever the load has been going on, it can be redirected to the 2 and 3 servers, so that the latency issues goes out. Asking the users to check the internet bandwidth is not never, because even if your internet is perfectly fine, if the application is not up and it is not able to hit the servers, there is no point if you are having the internet 100 mbps also. The answer is C. If I'm saying D means, you should not blindly follow me. You have to understand the question, why exactly it is underutilized. That doesn't mean he didn't say that your internet is not working, so you are not able to handle the application. Any questions, guys? Any questions you have? If not, we will meet tomorrow at the same time 8:30, and I will explain about the advanced features, and I will upload this video and the PPT to the drive. Sorry.
Okay, sure.
Any questions? You don't have any questions?
No, we definitely have, Ashok, but it was a very long session, more than it's like 2.5 hours. So we need to recap everything from the beginning, Ashok. Well,
Yeah, if you can.
watching the video. So
Yeah, sure, you have to, because this is a very good topic, and I'm saying this is a very good topic.
Ashok,
Okay,
yesterday
guys. Yes, tell me.
we have used global, right, Ashok?
Yes.
For that, for each like in if you run a global thing, yesterday we have created three instances. One in a master thing we have given Docker service global thing, and it has taken for each instance it has taken one.
Yes, that's right.
Uh, After that, I didn't get to know about where exactly in the industry we will be using this global, Ashok.
Where exactly means, as I said, antivirus. If you want to install the uh, antivirus software, why you will install 10 antivirus softwares in a single machine, or maybe 10 antivirus in 10 machines? No, right? You will
No.
not be doing in a single machine. You will be installing only one antivirus software.
one,
You will
yes,
not be using 30 antivirus, or maybe 10. More than one, it is not. It's a waste of the software, and it's a waste of the space and storage, right?
Yes,
So
Ashok.
we will be using antivirus software. Just a good example, antivirus. That was the reason I was giving the antivirus only yesterday in the topic also. Where you will be using means, if you are having 10 machines, the 10 machines should have only one software, only one antivirus. So obviously we will be using global for that, so that it will be having only one software in that machine, so that it doesn't complicate with any other things.
Okay. Ashok, yesterday there was a concept saying that Docker service update, parallelism 2, and you said the
Yes,
delay time. Can we
yes.
relate this to today, whatever you have done, like updating
No,
things?
see, this is not actually totally on the Docker. It's all about Nginx. How you gonna do a load balancing? How you gonna scale your application if it is been installed on EC2 machine, which is having Nginx as you are using Nginx as a web server. Tomorrow, I'm gonna explain how exactly the same things which we have used today. We will be using the advanced topics on the Docker Swarm only. The same thing, and the update parallelism and everything. We can work it out tomorrow. You will be able to understand that tomorrow. Today, it's all about the Nginx load balancing and about the scaling. How you gonna scale your application? How you gonna, what type of scaling you can use the Nginx as a proxy server, using Nginx as a web server? How exactly you can doing without Docker also? You can have your own servers, and on the Nginx, if you install Docker also, how it works out, we will look into tomorrow. We will be looking that tomorrow.
Ashok, I have a doubt. Using sudo system ctl stop docker, we'll be able to shut down a container permanently, Ashok, but we'll not be able to restart it using system ctl start docker. Ashok,
We can, Puneet.
Sorry, Puneet, I just lost it. Please repeat.
Ashok, using system ctl stop docker, we'll permanently delete a container.
Yeah, permanently stopping the container means permanently deleting the, stopping the Docker process, totally stopping the Docker process,
Okay, but
totally stopping the Docker.
using system ctl start docker, we'll be able to restart the same thing which we stopped, Ashok.
No, we will be starting the Docker process again. We will not be creating any container in that. If you are
Okay.
stopping, if you are see, Docker is there. If your Docker is there, uh, you don't have to do Docker swarm. Just install Docker and run the Docker container. Okay, run a Docker container and do systemctl stop Docker. And after that means, if you do ps and minus ef grep docker, Just mention that and see what exactly it is showing on first time. Once you stop the process, system stop docker and did the same command again, ps -ef grep docker, you will be able to see the result because the docker will not be running as a process. You have stopped the docker total fully process. Once you start, then you have to restart the docker container, whatever has been presented, you have to restart it again because the container which has been stopped, you have totally forcefully shutting down the docker in your machine, so that automatically the containers and whatever has been there, it will be deleted, the container will be stopped. But once you start the docker, you have to manually start your docker container, the images and everything will be present, but the docker process will be stopped.
Okay, sure, got it.
In addition to Punit's point, Ashok, in one of the instance, we will be stopping the Docker.
Yes.
While using this online platform thing, web server like web services, will there be any like delay in time, Ashok? Like there is in stop.
Delaying time means I'm not able to understand.
No, for example, if you are using Facebook.com,
Okay.
this is the web service like web thing we are using, and we are running in 3 instances. In one of the worker now we are stopping the thing. There are a finite number of users. So when it comes to this third instances, for this it will be allocated some of the containers, right, Ashok?
See, we are not actually went into the containers, right? We are actually using on Nginx server, right? We are actually making the worker process. And if you have defined the worker process, if you have defined the 4 or maybe 2, automatically the load will be balanced according to that. On the server side, which you have given, suppose you have kept in the demo file, if you are hitting the demo.com or maybe something test.com on upstream, when you are using upstream, and in that upstream you have mentioned the load should be handled by these 2 servers or maybe the 3 servers, so automatically it distributes the load to that 3 servers, not manually. That is called round robin. And when you are having least connections, if you use, as I mentioned there, we have not mentioned anything, by default it takes round robin. But if you want to use least connection, as I mentioned, Nginx load balancer, just type in Google Nginx load balancer, there you will be able to see the least connection definition. It will be mentioned in the upstream, the name, after that it will be mentioned least underscore connection semicolon. So we will be mentioning to the Nginx load balancer that this is a least connection load balancer. So that means in the 3 servers which is having the least connection, send the data to that least connections first. That is called another load balancer. And the IP hash, the same way, upstream the name, and after that we will be using IP underscore hash semicolon, so that it goes means whether this server is in a different site, means the hash the value of that IP address. If it is 1, go to the server 1. If it is 2, go to the server 2. And if it is 3, go to the server 3. Like that way we can work it out. This is the way how it works. If it is a container or maybe anything, we'll still be using the same thing only.
Ashok, between like master will the master distribute work, I mean the process to the workers or the nodes to the workers, Ashok?
Process nodes, as I said, nodes are just machines. In Docker, nodes means the EC2 instances.
Okay.
The process means inside whatever the process you are running, the master will define the means whatever the traffic it is getting, whatever the traffic or maybe whatever the containers, whatever the task it is having. If you are in the master, if you are having 3 different EC2 instances and you have created 3 Nginx servers, 3 Nginx servers means 3 Nginx web servers. So the master will take one and it will distribute the one to the other 2 worker nodes. If you want to update that Nginx, means you want to create more web servers, then you have created the replica, you have given 5, then it is up to the master. It may take one more for for itself, or it may add the other 2, means the newly added 2 servers, the newly added 2 web servers to the worker nodes. either to one, or maybe it may give the all the two to the single server only. It depends on the master. It's all about, it's on the Docker Swarm. But here, if you come to Nginx master worker process, the master will not take any work, only because the master is on the root user. So it will not do any work. All the work will be done the worker. Means whatever the traffic you are getting from the, whatever traffic you are hitting on that server, on the web server, it will be automatically handled by the worker processors.
Okay, Ashok. Got it.
Okay, guys. Any more questions?
No, Ashok.
Okay, guys, I will upload the PPT and the video today's on the drive. You can go through it.
Okay, Ashok.
Okay, guys, have a nice day. Stay safe and happy Republic Day.
Wish you the
Wish
same,
you the
Ashok.
same, Ashok. Thank you.
Okay, see you tomorrow at 8:30. Bye.
Yeah. Bye bye.